Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Tippecanoe County Board of Commissioners meeting for Monday, May 18th. I would ask that you rise and join us in the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our first order of business is a proclamation for Bike Month and Bike to Work Day, whereas for more than a century, the bicycle has been an important part of the lives of most Americans, and whereas today millions of Americans engage in bicycling as an environmentally sound form of transportation, an excellent way of gaining and maintaining fitness, and a means to promoting quality family recreation, whereas the education of both cyclists and motorists as to the rights of cyclists to the public roadways and the responsibilities there assumed are important to ensure the safety of both cyclists and motorists, and whereas bicycle groups throughout our nation, state, and city are promoting greater public awareness of bicycle operation and safety education in an effort to reduce accidents, injuries, and fatalities. Whereas Greater Lafayette is a growing and thriving community with transportation and recreation demands, now therefore, I, Tracy Brown, representing the Tippecanoe County Commissioners, Mayor Tony Rosworski and Mayor John Dennis, do hereby proclaim the month of May 2020 as Greater Lafayette, Indiana Bike Month, and the day of September 22nd, 2020 as Greater Lafayette, Indiana's Bike to Work Day, and command their observance to all the citizens in Greater Lafayette, and signed by myself and the mayors. So. Next order of business is the approval of minutes from our last meeting.
Mr. President, I'll make a motion. We approve the minutes from Monday, May 4th as submitted.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Presentation of accounts payable.
Mr. President, I'd like to recommend the claims from May 8th through May 20th, 2020 be approved without exception.
So move.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Mr. President, I'd also like to recommend the payroll dated May 15th, 2020 be approved without exception.
So move.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes. Doug, the directive concerning our emergency stay-home pay.
Yeah, so this is a directive that updates the declaration you made on March 24th, and both of these directives are made pursuant to the ordinance that you passed in March. But essentially all this does is it says that no longer will employees get emergency stay-home pay. In order to be compensated now, you'll either work in person, remotely, or take some other kind of paid time off, vacation, sick leave, and but the COVID-19 leave benefit that you passed for people who were actually sick or suspected sick or have family obligations that qualify. Those are all still eligible paid time off, but you just healthy person. You're not paying people to stay at home anymore.
Okay, and I might note that upon receiving that, I signed that on the 14th, and I'm bringing it, per the ordinance, I'm bringing it to the full board for signatures.
And I should have said that's effective today with today's workday.
And then I just want to clarify, though, that the COVID leave that we did originally has expired, right?
Right, it was superseded by the federal
Exactly.
guidelines that you adopted. Also, you incorporated by reference.
Okay, thank you. With that, I'll make the motion that we approve that directive concerning the emergency stay-home pay.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the directive as submitted. Any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And motion passes.
Mr. President, I move that we hear ordinance 2020-02-CM, regulations of traffic in a residential complex, for a second reading.
Second.
have a motion and a second. Doug?
Yeah, and you passed this on first reading. Time's kind of fuzzy these days, but a couple of months ago, I think. And what this does is, pursuant to the state statute, it allows an apartment complex with private streets to request from the commissioners. They submit a request that the sheriff will enforce the traffic laws on those roads. And then once you receive that request, it's referred to the sheriff, who will then enter into an agreement with the property owner. And then basically on these private residential complex streets, the sheriff can enforce the traffic ordinances. I guess I should mention that currently the statute is set to expire on December 31st of this year. The state statute is, which would stop the authority you're granting here, but I guess there's some discussion that the legislature is probably going to extend it.
Okay. Any questions for Doug? Sheriff, any comments for us? No. Okay. Bob?
Brown,
Yes.
Murtaugh,
Yes.
Byers,
yes.
ordinance 2020-02 CM passes 3-0 on second and final reading.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Morning.
Two quick items for you. The first is Community Crossings Matching Grant contract with NDOT for Bridge 133. It's 50% share participation. It's obligating the state to $400,000 half share in that bid.
And this bridge located basically where?
100 south near the East County line. The timber bridge that failed, we did an emergency repair, got it up to 5 tons just to get vehicles across, and now we're doing the replacement.
Mr. President, I move that we approve this agreement with NDOT as stated.
Second.
You have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Second item is a $5,000 bond for TNT Construction to do concrete work within county right-of-way.
Mr. President, I move that we approve this verification certificate with TNT Concrete as stated.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve. Any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion also passes. Thank you, Stu. Grants, either Sharon or Amanda.
Or Kayla.
Or Kayla.
I see Kayla.
She's
She's
eating.
muted.
Oh.
He's eating something.
Yeah.
Saying, wait a minute. Is that what-
I'll go
ahead
ahead.
and do it.
We have
Kayla's-
permission to accept a grant for adult protective services in the amount of $286,032 for the time frame from July 1 to June 30th.
I thought Sharon said that one was pulled.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Has been pulled, okay. We have an immunization grant for the Health Department from the State Department of Health in the amount of $55,000.
Permission to apply or,
It's permission to accept is what the sheet says.
okay, I'll make a motion. We grant permission to accept as stated.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to grant permission to accept the grant on behalf of the Health Department, $55,000 from ISDH for immunizations. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. We have a resolution on rural transportation.
Do you want me to cover that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is the continuation of the agreement that we put together last year with Area 4 Agency on Aging to provide transportation needs to those outside the urban areas for things such as medical appointments and other types of transportation needs. So this is a pass-through through them from NDOT. So with that, I'll make a motion that we approve Resolution 2020-17-CM.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2020-17-CM. Any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. We have a professional services agreement for emergency management. Doug?
Yeah, this is, call that up. This is an agreement with Jillian Jaffe with TEMA, and she's going to provide services in connection with assisting emergency management and health department staff with collection of data required for COVID-19 response and recovery efforts. Compensation will be $14 per hour, not to exceed 30 hours or $420 per week. And the term is initially through August 7th, 2020, and month to month thereafter.
Mr. President, I'll make a motion. We approve that professional services agreement as outlined.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the professional services agreement with Jillian Jaffe. Any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes. Have some change orders for the fifth floor HVAC project.
Yeah, we have one change order on this project. This project wrapped up a little bit under budget and ahead of schedule, so we got a head start on the Superior 7 project and finished some stuff up with the juvenile probation area and wrap that into the HVAC project. So it's a change order in the increase of amount of $11,199. With that, I'll make a motion for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the change order as outlined. Any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, 3 change orders for the Fairgrounds project.
One is a contract, and this is a contract with Milestone Contractors to finish up to do asphalt throughout the fairgrounds. Once the project is basically completed, they'll be pretty much the last team in. So with saying that, I move that we approve this contract with Milestone Contractors for paving at the fairgrounds.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
The other two we have, both of them are with J.R. Kelly. This is to increase concrete underneath where the bleachers were going to be stationed. Also increase some concrete throughout the larger entrance doors. So by saying that, I'll move that we approve the change orders. One is an increase of $13,031.95, and the other one is $7,197. So saying that, I'll move that we approve those 2 change orders.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on either of those change orders? Hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Those are approved. We have reports on file. Well, first, do we have any unfinished or new business to be brought before the board?
I have none.
I have none. I have no.
Reports on file, we have report from the clerk of the circuit court and from Crystal Creek Boarding Kennel that are on file at the office, if anybody needs to see those. And do we have any public comment?
From the extension, just a quick update. I know that the university sent out information stating that county fairs may happen in July. We also got that announcement on Friday, so we are working through some of the guidelines and the expectations. We don't know what our county fair will look like yet. We know it will look very different than how it's looked in the past, so as soon as we have a plan, I'll be sure to bring that to you and give you an update. So just wanted to address that announcement
that came out at the end of last week.
Okay. Thank you to Amber Knoll from our Extension office. Any other public comment? Hearing none, final motion,
Move to adjourn.
we are adjourned.